Hello again, everybody. In today's episode of What's in the Box, we're going to be looking at a kit that I had been wanting for quite some time that I got as a gift, courteous of a very good friend of mine, Carlos Mendes. Carlos, thank you very much. And what we're going to be looking at today, guys, is the AFV Club M42A1 Duster early version. And it's a wonderful kit, chock full of detail, lots of plastic. But enough of that, let's get right to it and take a look at the kit.
All right, guys, let's get started and take a look at the kit. So first we're going to start with the box. Now, I've already pulled the sprues out and taken the sprues out of the bag so we can get a close look at those. So the box has really got this wonderful piece of artwork on it. The person who signed this work I'm not familiar with, so I apologize. I don't know the name there, but yeah, so gorgeous box art. Now the side panel shows the different versions that are available to build in the kit. There's a U.S. National Guard version. There's a German Bundeswehr version, obviously here. There's a couple of Republic of China versions, Taiwan, of course, which makes sense because AFV Club is from Taiwan. There's a Japan ground self-defense version here as well. Now, as far as I can tell, I could not find a date on the box, but there are dates on the sprues. And we'll be getting to that shortly. So there's the box art. I love it, actually. It's gorgeous. So when you open the box and you get into the interior, you're greeted, of course, by a bunch of different bags of sprues. But when you get down to the paperwork, actually, what you first see is this nice little color plate, which is a duplicate, basically, of the box art. And I love this. And I will absolutely be putting this on my wall over my bench. So there's that. And this is the wrong instruction sheet, sorry. My apologies, I got confused there with my Great Wall Hobby book. So we go right into the instructions, because I think any decent kit review, you should at least have a cursory examination of the instruction booklet. It is a stapled booklet style, which is fantastic. And there are a number of steps in this build, quite a few actually, but I do like the thoughtful manner in which the instructions are laid out. Now the first page, there's some nice background information of the vehicle. The color call-out section is rather extensive. This was surprising. Most manufacturers don't go this far, but I mean it calls out Mr. Color, Mr. Hobby Color, Mr. Color Spray, Umbral, Revel, and Life Color. So there's quite a few options there for painting and marking. There's some other versions of the vehicle and some other models in the AFV Club line. Ironically, there's that Sergeant York, the M247, which was a dismal failure. That was from the late 70s and early 80s. It never went into production. So if we look at the instruction sheets themselves, we look at the instructions, it begins, as with most armor builds, with the bottom hull and the suspension. So we began attaching these little coiled springs that are part of the suspension system. It goes into the suspension arms itself, right into step 2. Then you began attaching the return rollers, road wheels. This is pretty much typically how any armor build goes. Now, as we get on to steps 5 and 6, we begin adding some minor interior detail, the outside edge of the turret basket, for example. You're going to start seeing black and white photographs. And this is fantastic. I've never seen a manufacturer do this before. So these black and white photographs are basically reference material, for the builders, so they can see what it looked like on the actual vehicle. That's fantastic. I love that feature. Thank you very much, AFV Club. This kit has got a ton of detail. You can see all the parts being attached to the top of this vehicle. All this detail going on to the fenders. It actually comes with spare barrels, which is fantastic. That's really, really nice. Then it starts to get busy. There's a lot of parts to this kit, a lot of small parts, but all this detail on the fenders here that you can see, this is just gorgeous. On into the turret basket construction. So there's going to be a full interior for the turret, the gun breech assembly, continue with the turret assembly. And notice here's the supporting photographs for reference. That's a wonderful, wonderful feature in a kit. This continues on into step 44 is the final step, where the turret, of course, attaches to the upper hull. Now, one of the things that I really like about this kit is there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different vehicle marking options. And just like I mentioned in the beginning, the first one is the traditional three-color NATO camo scheme. This is a U.S. National Guard, Ohio, 1976-1984. And then the rest of these are pretty much going to be olive green or NATO green. There's a Bundeswehr version. There's a Japan Ground Defense Force, a couple of Republic of China Army. That's going to be Taiwan. A lot of choices, and that's really nice, and I appreciate that AFV Club certainly gives us that option. Now, what else we're going to look at? Now, this is going to look at this plastic in no certain order. So this is the hull tub, and you can see there's nice detail on the bottom of this hull tub. It does not appear to be warped, and there's no ejection pin marks that are going to be of any concern during the build process. There is a little bit of flex on the top of this. Let me go ahead and zoom in so that you guys can take a better look at what we're dealing with here in terms of detail. Beautifully detailed. There's nice bolt detail along these suspension attachment points. Now when you pull this out of the box, inside the hull tub is a bunch of polycaps. Presumably this is for the road wheels, so you're going to be utilizing this during the build. There are 2 really nice turned aluminum gun barrels with 2 springs, which would part of the recoil mechanism. So I'm to presume that it has a functioning recoiling gun assembly, which is kind of toyish, but also kind of cool at the same time. Now, also inside the hull tub, when you pull this out of the sprue, is some really nice looking Pioneer equipment. Got a good looking shovel, some pickaxe, that sort of thing. These are really nicely rendered, no flash, first class job by AFV Club. Now this little sprue actually houses a beautiful M1919A4 air-cooled Browning 30 caliber machine gun. It's right there. That's nice. It's the only one I didn't actually pull out of the bag. And let's go ahead and in this sprue, what we have is turret basket parts. These little tiny attachment points all are beautifully done and beautifully rendered. Guys, I don't see any flash on any of these parts anywhere, so I don't anticipate that being, of course, an issue. There are some ejector pin marks on the underside of this turret basket, but I don't think that's going to be a problem after this kit is assembled. Obviously, the turret's going to be down, so you're not going to see these. But fantastic level of detail on these parts, so thank you for doing that, AFV Club. Now, this next sprue has some suspension components, a lot of filigree parts, box lids, you know, the drive sprocket drive sprocket housing here on the outside, seats. This is going to be for the gun crew. Here's one of the spare barrels. But you know, if I can call out, look at the detail on these parts, it's just exquisite. The ribbing along these headlight guards here, if you can see this. Let me zoom in for you just a bit more. You can see these, you know, that's what Freddie would call plastic photo etch. Those are headlight guards, and that's got to be some of the best looking you know, thin plastic I've seen in this scale, at least, in quite some time. So there's that sprue. There's another identical sprue. I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. You don't get, you know, you guys don't need to see 2 of those. Now, this is the upper part of the hull, your engine deck, and guys, the detail on this is just, it's just exquisite. The handles to pull these grates up are done in plastic. They're actually molded into this piece of plastic, but they are stunning. I'm really pleased with the way this looks. I certainly don't have any issues with it. And let me zoom in just a skosh so that you can take a better look at the detail here. You can see these handles on here are just, I mean, they just, well, they speak for themselves. Just take a look. They're gorgeous. All right, there's that part. Now, as with any armor kit, there's times 2 the road wheels, and this sprue consists of the inner and outer road wheel hubs, suspension arms, or the shock absorbers. You can see those here. The bolt detail on the inside of these road wheel dishes looks fantastic. No complaints at all. Suspension arms look really good. Once again, I'm not seeing any flash at all on any of these parts. These sprues are all dated, by the way. They have a date of 2012 on the majority of them. This sprue has a date of 2007 on it, so this is probably from a previous M24 Chaffee or M41 Walker Bulldog build, or excuse me, kit. Now, on this next sprue, what we have are the fenders, done in plastic. A lot of people would be disappointed in that, I know, but they're actually very, very thin, guys. I don't see this as being a problem. You know, they might be slightly out of scale, but once they're on the kit, I think they're going to look great, especially if you're going to mud this thing up. Or I guess you could make it a barracks queen, since none of these really saw combat. I would revise that some of these did actually see combat in Vietnam as actually a ground support weapon. Okay, I do want to share this with you. Now, if you look at the hatch detail here, the hatches look great, but it's the spring, actually, right here. Here's my knife. The spring, these coil springs on these hatches are just stunning. Let me zoom in just a bit so if you guys can see what I'm talking about here. This coiled spring detail is amazing. And these fenders, you can see they're very thin. I don't have any issues with any of this. No, these jerry cans are really nice. They say US on them. Some of them have the brackets already molded on. They look very, very good. So there's that sprue. And the next piece, this is more of the, looks like some of the turret basket parts as well as fender detail. Now there's the first flash I've seen in the kit right here. Not bad though, just a swipe of the knife will take that off either side. It looks like we have some kind of exhaust pipes. Exhaust here. That's probably an exhaust to drive the turret motor. These boxes, of course. These spare track links look amazing, by the way, right here. The detail on these is fantastic. Let me zoom in for you there, let you see that. They look great. Right there. Very deep, crisp detail. And there's that sprue. And the final sprue to look at, this is primarily parts for the gun assembly. So you have the two, the breech halves for the guns. I believe they're going to be workable for the kit. Yeah, these are all this is the very simple analog targeting computer. It's got some kind of basic lead compensating figure built into it. The box, this box is incredible. I'm going to show you that. These little tiny filigree parts, a lot of this, once again, as Freddie calls plastic photo etch. The detail is exquisite. There's a gorgeous looking fire extinguisher, but what I want to share is, I don't know if I can show you this. If I can figure out how to. My camera's going to cooperate or not. I'm not sure it is. Yeah, there it is right there. This box, look at the handle and hinges on this box, and it's just a piece of plastic, guys. There's no photo etch on it. Really, really looks good. I'm very, very pleased. The amount of detail on this sprue is just amazing, and this has got to be all gun assembly. So, guys, that is the main plastic of the kit. There's one last thing here to look at, and that would be the tracks. They are gluable, quote-unquote rubber band style tracks, which means they're polyethylene, but the detail on these is amazing. Super, super crisp. And since this tank had live tracks, there is no sag, so you don't need to worry about that. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this detail. Tell me that's not some of the best looking soft plastic tracks you've ever seen. And you'll notice no ejector pin marks on these anywhere, and you simply make that join just like that, and that seam disappears. This is going to be a really nice kit. So guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this review. I hope you got enough information you needed to determine whether or not you wanted to buy this kit. Carlos, I want to thank you again very much for the gift. I appreciate it. It was a birthday present, guys. So I hope everyone has a great week, and I appreciate you tuning in. Take care, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Take care, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.